All right, so how's everybody doing? Welcome to Tyranny of Dragons here tonight. We are ready to go as we are in hot pursuit of the dragon cult, kind of led by this lizardfolk individual who has been helping us, or offered to help us find the Horde to the north. But first, a few announcements, as always. Let's take a look here. So, Civil War Empire is ready for Wednesday. Party is making their way towards Lomera Village, so that's going to be pretty interesting. They're trying to figure out more information about the Great Wizard Ezitor. The Alliance group has moved up their game from, instead of it being a week from Saturday, it's actually going to be this coming Saturday. Mostly because of scheduling issues, so that's going to help them a little bit. They are attempting to free Bo Victus and bring him back to the Alliance. So we'll kind of see where they get with that. If they don't make some more mistakes like they did this past week. Ascension should be live again this week. Hopefully, barring any scheduling issues or anything like that, we should be up and going. We are currently... Let's see, we just entered into White Plume Mountain. We have gathered 2 of the weapons, and we are going to gather the 3rd next. And then this game, Tyranny of Dragons, will return regular scheduled time next week, as it always is. And then a week from Wednesday, our newest campaign, Amongst the Giants, is going to be returning. That's April 25th. So we hope to see you guys there for that. Should be pretty good. They're continuing to thin out the numbers for the goblins within the village there. So beyond that, I think that's about it. Are we about ready?
Ready? Everybody else ready?
I am also ready.
All right.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Zorn.
Yeah. What's up?
Dope. You ready?
Yeah. Let me just open everything up here.
Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and go over what happened last session, and then we'll continue on. So last session, you started off while keeping watch the night after arriving at the Karnoth roadhouse. Stone Skull on second watch had an unexpected visitor come to the door of the room that you had procured. You discovered this visitor was a half-elf named Larian Keenblade that seemed to be amongst the cultists there, but he came with a proposition, basically saying that people were coming. You had not made a good impression the day before, and they were looking to go ahead and take you out, and he was giving you a warning in exchange for getting him out as well. So you all made a hasty retreat with Larian, leading to the way to the strong storeroom that the half-orc, I think his name is Bog Luck, the day before it mentioned. Steve was able to definitely unlock the room, and you all moved in. As you did, though, you found 3 lizard men, kind of lizard folk looking people, all holding these kind of marked boxes that all had the mark or the insignia of the cult on them. They were very surprised that you were in there, but didn't initially cause a fuss, only really asking why you were there. It seemed like they had mistaken you for cultists. As you examined the room more closely, you saw a trapdoor leading down within the room under a cleverly disguised box that was attached to the floor. As you began to all move into the hole, hearing the pursuers now coming behind you and trying to break into the room, Stone Skull decided to attempt to intimidate one of these creatures to convince it that it didn't see them, and sadly was not very convincing. As Stone Skull began to slay the creature that was not convinced by him, Max tackled him into the trapdoor hole to prevent him from slaying said creature.
Which, by the way, can we just talk about that for a second?
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Talk about the fact that you stopped me from slaying this creature and then immediately turned right back around and started slaying more of them. Or are we not going to talk about that?
We absolutely should talk about that.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about that after recap. All right. So after Max tackled Stone Skull into the hole, you all funneled down as the creature that was in danger of losing its life let out a call, basically to warn all the other cultists, obviously seeing that you were not, in fact, their comrades, but instead people that shouldn't have been there. But you all funneled down this hole and found yourself back in the Mirror of Dead Men, and began fleeing from the voices that were growing ever louder behind you. As you were fleeing, you found marks on trees that seemed to be led there as a guide along this kind of semi-solid grounded path through the mirror. After running into some trouble in the form of an orc raiding party and a couple of wayward trolls that you were able to take care of more or less without much difficulty, with enough healing thrown into the Stone Skull to make him survive all the hits he was taking, you were able to continue on a few more miles. After a short amount of time, you came upon what appeared to be a makeshift camp. At the edge of this camp, you saw that the somewhat solid ground that you had been traveling on ended completely, leading off into just bog and wet swamp beyond it. As you examined the camp as you were getting closer, you saw to be what appeared 8 sleeping, more of these lizard folk that you had ran into in the room before. After some deliberation, you decided to go ahead and slay these creatures that were completely defenseless in their sleep. Ignalia led the charge with a massive fire breath and almost killed most of them. As the battle that really was more of a massacre than anything continued on, two of them begged for their lives as you were executing the rest of them. So you decided to spare them. You began questioning them and found out that one of them, named Snapjaw, spoke common and not just draconic like the other one. You also discovered that he wanted to be your ally. After knocking the other lizard folk out, after being told by Snapjaw that he couldn't be trusted, you finally discovered where the stolen goods of the cult have been taken or were being taken. Castle Neritar. Snapjaw told you this was a castle hidden deep in the Mirror of Dead Men, and that is where the lizard folk who you found out were actually unwitting slaves of the cult, were taking the stolen valuables. You decided to follow Snapjaw's direction to make your way towards the castle with promise that he would be able to get you into the castle in the guise of more cultists. So that is where we will resume today. You're still in the area. Tara has buried all the fallen lizard folk. You're still at the campsite, making ready to take off. What do y'all want to do?
One more time, what's the name of this castle again?
Castle
Castle
Neritar.
Neritar.
Naruto.
Neritar.
There you go.
How big are the the boats? I want to inspect the boats.
Okay.
I kind of, turn my back on, Snapjaw and the group, and just kind of wander over to the end of the dock.
As you're looking over these canoes, you see each of them has three paddles kind of leaned up against them, as these are all kind of leaning on these dead and rotting trees that make up the Mirror of Dead Men. You see that it's large enough to hold about 5 people of your size without too much gear. However, as you're kind of looking around at the packs of everybody, you would see that it would probably take at least 2 of these to be able to travel all of you together. As you're looking around, you actually see some baskets laying down towards the edge of the camp, as well as down at the foot of these canoes that are leaning up against trees. And inside of it, you see some little bits of smoked fish that seem to have some mold on the edge of them. And you see some small lizards and birds that have been smashed flat and dried in the sun. They don't look super appetizing, but they do look edible at the very least.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. They're on the boat.
They're in baskets that are kind of strewn around the camp, as well as down at the kind of the foot of these boats.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get an idea of how many boats it's gonna take to move all of us.
You would surmise if you wanted to take all of your belongings and such, it would take at least 2.
Okay. Want to walk back to Snapjaw and kind of pick him up off the ground if he's still, not in a violent manner, but help him stand up. And ask him how do we how long is the journey to Naatar?
With that,
Naatar, sorry.
Snapjaw stands up and kind of dusts himself off and looks up towards you, and then kind of bows his head again, a little bit of complacency. He says, "It'll take at least 2 days of rowing for us to reach the castle."
Is that the fastest way to get there from here?
Oh wait, not 2 days. 1 day. Sorry, he said 1 day.
Oh, okay.
As you ask that, he nods. He says, "The mirror is not passable any other way, except by," and he kind of motions over to the canoes. He says, "by our boats here."
Nonsense. We'll looking around to the rest of the group, kind of nodding, looking for affirmation. Like we need to move as soon as possible. How much longer would you need to be able to depart with us?
You asking Snapjaw?
Yeah, Snapjaw. Yeah, I'm talking to Snapjaw. I was just looking around everybody else to see,
Okay.
we're all on the same page.
As you ask him, he shakes his head. He says, "I can leave whenever you're ready." I would ask, and he kind of motions down to the still unconscious lizard folk down by his feet, that we don't abandon my friend in the mirror while he's unconscious. It is dangerous.
Could we trust him enough to not have him bound?
I mean,
Would
isn't
you
he
talk
already
to him?
knocked? He's already knocked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
No,
he
you shackled him.
knocked
You hit him
out.
with the
yeah,
manacles.
he's knocked out, and when he was knocked out, I put the manacles on him. Yes,
Yes.
and that's just to
Well,
prevent him from freaking out and trying to do something crazy like attack us.
well, perhaps we can talk sense into your friend, Snapjaw, or is it best he stay in his current state?
With that, you see Snapjaw kind of reaching up and scratching his chin, looking over at his down comrade. Says, I will talk to him and see if he is able to keep his maw shut as necessary.
Does
With
he
that,
mean
I'll
now?
nod. Say you wake him and apprise him. Let him know what the situation is.
And I'm gonna prop him up so that his friend can try to bring him back.
All right. So as you prop him up
Um,
and Snapjaw gets kind of instructions from Max, you see him reach down and kind of sit down on his haunches in front of his friend, and he reaches up and very unceremoniously just begins slapping him across the face back and forth until the other lizard folk finally shakes his head and regains consciousness. As that happens, you see Snapjaw in Draconic once again, because once again, y'all do know that this other one doesn't seem to speak it. It seems to be an uncommon language for them. They only speak Draconic for the most part. You see it pleading with it, explaining, basically referring to you all as saviors, as people that will help you be free from the bullywugs and their masters, and that they can report back to their true master.
And who would your true master be?
One second. I gotta have the name in front of me. I can't pronounce it without it.
Man.
All right. So as Snapjaw winds up, or finishes up talking to this other lizard folk, he hears Ignalia questioning him. So you speak Draconic, right?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you heard that, and as you ask him who his true master is, he says, "There is only one true master of the mirror, the Black Death, Voragamanthar."
And what sort of man is this Voragamanthar? Is he a master worth serving?
I imagine both Damien and I look at you. And no, that's a dragon.
As you say something about a man, you see Snapjaw furiously shake his head. "We follow no man. Not willingly, of course. No. The
I'm
true
just using the
master."
pronoun. God damn it.
Yeah, improper one. No. Voragmanthar is a dragon of the black variety.
You serve him directly. I say this to them in Draconic.
With that, he kind of looks back at you in that very slurring speech that is draconic, answers back, directly as he needs. Someone as great and powerful as him doesn't always talk directly to us, but he's always there.
Well, I'm sure he would appreciate your loyalty.
That you kind of see Snapjaw shrug. Appreciate, but not needed. He has plenty of servants.
The cultists?
With that, you see Snapjaw kind of lower his head a little bit, almost saddened a little bit. You would think someone as powerful as him would not serve anyone, but his motives and actions as of late have been in line with these dragon worshippers, these cultists, as you call them.
By the way, welcome everybody that's watching.
I wonder
Nice to have you here.
if the dragon is on the side of Tiamat, or if they've somehow taken Vorgmanthar. Is that how you said it, Havoc?
I think it is.
Borog Hamanthar.
Borog.
Vorgmanthar. I love dragon names.
That is why I had to have it in front of me.
Well,
What the?
they've been Vorog Hamanthar's will through some means.
As you say that, Snapjaw just kind of shrugs. I know not of any way to influence someone so powerful, but it could be the case. I am not sure. I'm sorry.
With that, we wish to, I'm kind of speaking to both of them. We wish to go to the castle and remove the dragon worshippers from that castle. Can you be trusted to help us?
Make a persuasion check.
And the one that I'm holding up, he's not resisting in any way. He's just going with it.
He's just nodding. He listened to Snapjaw. He's been listening to this conversation as it's been spoken in Draconic. With that, as you're saying that, Max, you see the creature kind of looking up at you and looking over at Snapjaw, and seems to be thinking for a few moments. And then it looks up back towards you and looks back at Snapjaw once again. It says, I will, in Draconic once again, speaking to Snapjaw, I will follow you for now. But the safety of our people is paramount. Nothing comes above that.
We wish you to get safely back to your people. We would just use you and your knowledge to help us get there, and then you'd be on your way.
Speaking of your people, are there more groups located at the castle Neritar, or anywhere else about the mirror?
With that, as you're speaking to it, the one that's still shackled kind of lowers its head and nods towards you, Max. Snapjaw turns around towards you, Ignalia, and nods once again, kind of feverishly. Says, yes, our entire tribe has moved to the castle.
On the way there, you will tell me a little bit more about your people so that we might be able to effectively convince them to stand down and let us aid them.
After thinking a moment,
That is-
Snapjaw kind of spreads his hand in assent and nods. Says, very well.
And then I'll look one more time. How many canoes are there total?
3.
4.
Well,
4 wicker lean-tos.
my recommendation is either we take all 4, one apiece, tied behind the other in case of necessity. Otherwise, we take the 2 that we need and we burn the other 2.
And maybe not. I appreciate the enthusiasm with burning, but I suggest we just sink them instead. We don't need to send a signal to everyone where we are. And I don't think anything will burn well in this atmosphere.
Tara screams over from the side of the boat. I could just bury them.
To the same effect. That would be appropriate.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't be okay to take all of them.
I'm voting we take all of them.
I think it'll just slow us down.
How many?
It's not as if these are expertly crafted.
How many
boats.
people do they hold?
But they're wicker. They couldn't slow us down. We were just gonna tie them to each other.
Without much gear and such, it'll almost comfortably sit 5 people.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression it was like 2 or 3 people, and I was like, yeah, I'm like 2 of you people together, so this might be bad.
If they're moving treasure, these are more bargey.
Yeah,
You know what I
they're
mean?
very
Yeah.
long and
Okay,
somewhat wide and such. So
gotcha.
Is
Yeah, I
there
was just
anywhere
gonna
we
say-
can stop, or is it a straight shot to the castle?
Snapjaw tells you that it's past this point. There are no more reliable pieces of solid ground until you reach the castle grounds.
I guess kind of, I imagine I was crouching, squatting down when I was talking to him, stand back up to the rest of the group and say, let's load up. Do you want to take the other 2 boats behind us? Lash them together?
That's what I would recommend.
Okay.
Going to grab the lizard folk guy in front of me, the one in manacles, and I'm going to stand him up very easily, like grabbing onto his shoulders and just lifting and putting him on his feet. And then I'm going to look over to his friend and say, if I take off these manacles, he's not going to run, is he?
And with that, Snapjaw looks at his friend one more time and he shakes his head no. No, he will be cooperative as long as you do not try to harm our people. And he kind of looks back towards the somewhat shallow graves that Tara dug into the ground. Again, as long as you don't hurt us again, he will cooperate.
Okay, and I'll unfasten the manacles and attach him back to the pouch or to the backpack again.
Can I insight Snapjaw? I just want to know if he believes what he's saying.
Sure.
15?
You feel that he's truthful to it. He seems to have eyes essentially for y'all. He wants you all to go with him and help rescue his people. You feel a resonance of truth from that. And even speaking about one of his brethren with this other lizard folk, he seems to be telling the truth. He does believe that this lizard folk will stay tame, not try to fight or run away or anything like that, as long as you keep your end of the bargain.
All right.
So, what do you want to do? It's very early morning. Dawn has just broke above the trees from what little light it actually makes it into the mirror. But you do see the sun's rays kind of trailing through the trees. It's very early morning. You'll have not slept since the day before or the night, 2 nights ago. Starting to get a little weary, but it's up to y'all. What do you want to do?
2 nights ago. So we were going through the mirror for a full day.
I mean, we didn't get a full night's sleep when we were at the roadhouse.
Did everyone just drop? Havoc, Steve?
Oh yeah, you're
Willie?
correct. Yeah,
I'm
Hapic's
here.
thing is lit up, but he's not talking.
Yeah,
It's not even showing them in Discord for me anymore.
it's showing for me. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you
Yeah.
and Scott.
Okay.
I think that we're the only 3 left.
Oh, okay. Damn, that sucks.
Something happened with the bot.
Yeah, it's on his internet too, so it dropped him as well.
Soul
Well, that sucks.
survivor.
All right, well, we'll take a short break here as we wait for them. Kind of get everything situated and back up and running again.
I was just sitting here and like the D&D bot got super loud, and then I heard dink, dink, dink. I was like, okay.
Again, sorry to interrupt the game
But,
here. We are waiting on some people
yeah,
to reconnect.
so my thoughts
It looks
going
like
forward
Discord
were
dropped for
y'all
them.
want at least a short rest. Really, we want a long rest.
Yeah, no.
I would expect there's a party coming behind us, so like we don't have tons of time.
No, he said we would be able to take a long rest on the boats. Those were his words, and I'm holding them to it.
Yeah, and then he was kind of going back on that earlier.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Then
Well-
we need to go get an army.
I mean, I'm good with the short rest. So anything you guys want to do, I'm good. It doesn't matter to me. I'll agree to anything. No. Uh-oh. Sounds like the Discord server is going down. Going to try disconnecting here and see. Yeah, it's not even letting me disconnect. Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? I'm not getting dropped frames, so it's not here on the internet. Guys, I apologize. It's kind of unexpected. Going to try to boot ourselves out of Discord here and see what we can do. Fix this. Let's quit Discord. Try again. Again. Gonna take a minute, it looks like. Sorry about this, guys. Oh, and Roll20 just reloaded too. That's cool. Still not getting drop frames, so it's not my internet. It looks like there may be something else going on though. Again, apologize everybody here. It's a very unlikely situation that we are facing here. Looks like they are talking. Man, kind of rough. We're going to actually, since we're dealing with all of this and everything continues to reload, we're going to take a short break here while we kind of sort out all of the technical issues, and then we'll be right back. So apologize. I promise we'll get back to the game here very shortly.